Hello, hello, hello. Surprise! I actually have a guest with me. It is probably one of the most important, the most special guest ever. It is the handsome, the smart, the debonair, my other daddy, Willie
Yeah.
Hines, my husband. I want to say thank you all for joining this evening. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my lovely husband for joining me tonight. We have such a good topic for you all. We are going to be busting some myths that are out there. We're going to see what truths are out there, what lies are out there. And we're going to have a really, really good time doing it. So I want to shout you out. Make sure you put in the comments who you are, where you are streaming from. And that way I'll have an opportunity to shout you out. Again, thank you for joining. We're going to have an awesome show. We're going to take a quick break and then we will get started. Thank you guys again.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hello, hello, hello. We're back. We're back.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you to my beautiful wife for having me this evening. She knows that I'm not as photogenic and like to be in front of the camera a lot, but I definitely wanted to interject in this particular topic that we have here tonight for you.
So let me shout out these people, and I'm thanking you again. For those of you who are just joining, this is my wonderful husband, Willie, and he's joining me tonight because of this topic. I needed to bring in some male reinforcement. Not that I couldn't handle it. You know I can handle it, but I wanted to bring in some reinforcement. But let me shout out the people. Hey, Keita Lynn, Vashawn, Angel, my sister, Danielle, and Miss Perez, Kelvin, Marsha, Charles, JG, Faithful. Angel said, "What up, Willie?"
Evening.
Hey, listen, Miss Perez, you got me chuckling all out loud and internally. You said you ready for the tea? Okay, good. We about to pour it. We're gonna give it to you. Hi, Paige, and hello, Will. Thank you guys for joining, and you are joining from all over everywhere. So we appreciate you. All right, you guys ready? I'm ready. I'm excited. This is one of those topics that, again, we're always trying to get into the male psyche. We're trying to understand what is going on in these brains of theirs. So we're going to dig in just a little bit. And fellas, I see you're out there. So feel free to drop your comments. Ladies, feel free to drop your comments as well, your questions. We will answer, time permits, but definitely go ahead and get any questions in early that you might have. All right. So again, we are talking about myths, lies, and truths, right? Truths about men and sex. We want to talk about some beliefs, thoughts, and ideas regarding them and evaluate again whether or not it's a myth, it's a lie, or truth. So the very first
Well, let me interject
Oh,
before we begin, as
okay.
I'll preface the conversation with when I speak about men in this context, in this evening, I'm talking about a man's man. I'm not talking about boys. I'm not talking about males with penises. I'm speaking from a man's point of view. So everything I state, whether you agree or disagree, will be from the man's point of view. Again, a man's man.
Well, all right then. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right. So, number one, emotional connection equals desire. We are talking about whether or not this is a myth, lie, or true. Does emotional connection equal desire?
For a man.
For a man, specifically for a man. Well, you go ahead. You answer. Do you say that's a lie or truth?
This is a bold-faced lie. A man doesn't need the emotional connection to have sex. For men as young adults, we have enormous amounts of testosterone trying to push and drive us to emotional expression. The love, the intimacy, we're not geared that way. As males, we are raised to the number of sexual partners defines our manhood, not really loving our partners. So as we grow into manhood, some of that is still there, but it's more so the physical presence, how our partner looks, how she moves, her swag.
Okay.
Her swag. So it's an absolute lie. Emotional connection and feelings is not what drives a man to sex. It's more physical than anything else.
So I saw a question from, and I don't know if this is just Will, so you're just gonna be Will. You said, are men visual? Yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing, for a man, seeing his wife or seeing his partner coming out the shower naked causes his body to react. And so, on the woman's side of this, women, we desire emotional connection. And for us, our desire a lot of times is prompted by what's going on in our mind, what's going on in memories, right, of a previous encounter or experience. And so for us, yes, for sure, it's more so emotional. Does that mean that women are not physical? No, that's not what it means. But it means that between men and women, men are definitely more physical than women are. So I wanted to point something else out too, because when we're talking about desire and we're talking about arousal, I've given this demonstration a few times, and I don't know if I have here on SOS before. And I guess I didn't even say, hey, you're watching SOS, but I think you know that that's what you're doing. So the thing is, for men, it literally is like a one line connection. It's from here, their eyes directly to their penis, there's desire. But for women, it's mental, it's emotional, then there's vaginal stimulation, then the vagina gets involved. So for us, definitely it is more so of an emotional connection than it is a physical one.
And I'll finish up this particular question by one thing. Again, as a man, just because we find you attractive doesn't mean we want to have sex. So when we have our wives and we have our partners and we see women all over, we're in the gym, if we're out at the store, we're at work, it's a situation where we can find someone attractive, but I need for my sisters and my women to understand that it's not a necessity for us that we have sex with that person that we find attractive.
So, Will, to your question, Will says, hold on one second. I'm going to put this up here because I want everybody to see this, because I am sure you are not the only one who is thinking this way. So, Jess M. Will says, please explain men having sex with multiple partners and not caring how they look. It doesn't seem like they are visual. And he just touched on that. So you want to expound?
Again, I go back to the way we started. We're talking about men. We're speaking about men. So boys and males can have sex with anyone. A man is going to make sure they cherish the experience and that they're putting themselves in a position not to be in those positions with multiple partners. Again, what defines us as we're growing up is the amount of sexual partners. Doesn't matter about anything else about having sex. There's some type of reward, a high five of some sort for how many partners we've had and that we can share that we've had. It's not necessarily being a man.
Okay, so you guys, you're coming for us tonight. I'm here for it. So Ms. Perez says, but after a few years into marriage with the same partner, is it ever at some point emotional?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What I'm coming from is that arousal, that initiation, we're definitely more physical. We're going to talk about some things a little bit further in detail as we move forward about if a man is not if some emotional items, some emotional tragedies may impact the sex.
So, number one was emotional connection equals desire. That was a myth for us. And you got a high five here. Who was it? JG? He said, yep. Lie.
Doggone lie.
So sex begins in the body for men, and for women, most often it begins in the mind. It begins in the mind. It begins with our emotions, and again with memory of maybe a past experience. And so it's different. All right. So we're going to move to the next one. These were good questions, good comments. Thank you guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All righty. Let's see. Where do we want to go next? Okay. A man's appetite for sex can be lost due to discord.
Truth, lie, or myth?
That is definitely the truth. Definitely the truth. For men, sex is actually hunger, and men want to get full. So
we like to eat. Keep it going, baby.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best. So for men, the way that some women actually have a craving for chocolate, men actually crave sex in that way. And so for men, they definitely are looking forward to just the thought of an opportunity to feel delighted, to be surprised with whatever they may experience in that encounter is, man, mind-blowing for a man. And so for a man, you could even look at it as a day is hardly complete without dessert, right? And so for a man, if for some reason they happen to get into an argument or a fight with their spouse, it truly can spoil their appetite. That is true.
That's the truth. And that speaks to the last question. I can't remember who posed that question, but about is it ever at some point emotional? Mm-hmm. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. We're not machines. We definitely come with emotions. But sometimes when those some type of discord, some type of tragedy that happens, we may not be feeling that intimacy or want to be intimate in that way. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's a situation where we horny, things may happen, but it's not going to be enjoyable for both partners. It's going to be something to do instead of really connecting on an emotional level. But in the same rate, same token, on the other side, if you definitely have that emotional connection with your partner, the sex, the intimacy becomes so much better than just the physicalness.
Yeah, I think for a long time, I felt like he wasn't emotional. And what I realized is that he totally is, but he just expresses his emotions in a different way from myself. Pastor T.D. Jakes talked about he motion. And if you have never watched that or listened to that, I urge you to do so, because oftentimes we as women, we're looking for the emotions to look a certain type of way, and they don't always look that way. And that's okay. The way that we express is totally different. Just like the way we think about things, how we process things, it looks very, very different. And so for a lot of times, men saying they're not emotional is the equivalent of them telling us that we're too emotional. It doesn't feel good. We don't like it. We feel judged. Like, it's not cool. It's not okay. So again, there are emotions there for sure. And as you continue to grow and nurture and build your relationship, the emotions will come. They definitely will come. Now, again, different situations. We're talking about somebody who just hooked up. That's not going to be emotional, but we're talking about someone who is in a long-term relationship with someone. Absolutely, there will be emotions involved. So it really depends on too the nature of the relationship. But yeah, the more emotions and connection, the better the sex. So
let me comment to Charles's statement. Men can lose sexual appetite due to low testosterone as they age too. Most men don't want to talk about it or seek help. That is absolutely true. And again, if you go back to where we began, those sexual encounters define us at that time. So when we begin to transition, chemical imbalances, get a little older, not able to perform as we may have done so at our youth, it feels like we're losing a portion of our manhood. So absolutely, the likelihood or the wanting or the desire to have sex may decrease because of those things. But it's definitely important to talk about it, seek clinical help, and then find that partner that's really to work to ensure that sex is enjoyable.
Yeah, I want to say too, you guys, in a previous episode, I talked about reasons why men say no to sex. And this actually came up that, sometimes when there have been physiological changes, that it does make it difficult for a man to want to continue initiating and engaging in sexual activity for many, many reasons. Embarrassment, not feeling adequate, just, feeling as if he can't please his partner. Like it's so many different reasons. But yes, you most definitely have to talk about it. And it happens. It's normal, it's natural, and it's definitely something that you need to discuss with your partner. Don't leave them out in the cold. Don't leave them in the dark. Explain what you're going through, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and it's important that you guys talk through that. All right. So the next one, men can be driven by fantasy. All right, I answered the last one, so you can answer this one.
What we say, is it a myth?
Is it a myth, truth, lie? What is it?
It's absolutely true. It's exciting. It's the intimate relationships and just the potential of and excitement. Those hormones that drive you thinking about your spouse, thinking about whatever you feel your spouse is and is sexy. Some is just some jogging pants and a t-shirt, being in her most natural state. Others, it may be dressing up. And I know LaKeesha spoke recently about role play. So you're absolutely correct, man. It's her figure, the way she carries herself, her swag. It may be her in a professional attire. So that fantasy can be whatever you make it. So absolutely, it drives excitement. It drives you to want to drive crazy to get home, to be intimate, whatever that looks like, especially if it's throughout the day. Text messages, notes, emails, and can shape up things for an amazing evening. From what we understand and what's written is our brain waves spike with the elation of just a hint of something reminding of sex. So it could be that fragrance. It could be that thought. It could be that word she said. It could be that meal she prepared. It could be anything. Just a hint of something that reminds us of sex gets us very excited about the fantasy of being intimate.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, sex is energy. Sex is energy. And that hormonal energy that men get literally can give him the drive and aggression to pursue not only his life's purpose, but his work, and ultimately, ladies, to pursue us. Men have to push through so many challenges, especially minority men, with all of the challenges that they have to deal with and face on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And that energy literally can propel them through that daily monotony, because they just have that fantasy in their mind of a sexual reward at the end of a really long and difficult day.
I'll say this and just be very, very candid. Starting the day makes you want to pump your chest and gives you that energy to say, you know what, I am the man for that day. my wife really took care of me, and we're able to move forward and definitely be
Productive?
be the best men that we can be.
Productive throughout the day? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
All right, you guys. So you're dropping your comments and questions, and I love it. I love it. I love you. Thank you. Want to take one more quick break, and then we will jump right back in. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. All right. Welcome back. Thank you guys again for watching. This is SOS, where we are saving our sex lives one bedroom at a time. I have a special guest with me. For those of you just joining, this is my wonderful husband, Willie, my other daddy. So I want to say thank you again to him for joining, and we're going to jump right on back in. So we're talking about myths, lies, and truths. And the next one is sex is the way he gives love. All right. Do we think this is a lie? Do we think it's a myth? Do we think it's the truth? Is this the way he gives love?
What do you think it is?
I think that this is true.
Yes.
All right. So is this the only way he gives love? No. There are many ways to express and show our love for one another. And this is just one of those ways. So if you guys were here before this last break, Willie kind of alluded to the fact that men can actually get turned on just by recognizing that their partner is stimulated or turned on. That can trigger them to be turned on. So men often get called selfish, right? You guys get called selfish a lot because they have a preference for a sexual connection over maybe a mental, emotional one. Like if we had to choose, we want all of them, right? But if we had to order them in order of importance, sex would probably be like number one, right? Or two, high on the list, right? So you guys get called selfish because of that. But at the end of the day, really, it is about the expectation of mutual, exquisite bodily pleasure. What's the most important word I just said? Mutual, right? Not just for you, but for your partner as well. And so
I think as men, you guys may have heard this before. We profess, we protect, and provide for our wives or our spouses or our partners. Having that sexual intimacy covers all of those items. We're professing in a very intimate way that we love you. We want to be with you in this mutual connection. We hold you tight. We protect you. And we provide a sexual experience, hopefully, that is just amazing each time. Or let's just call it what it is, whatever time allows, or whatever we want at that particular time. So we're here to protect you, profess our love for you, and provide for you. And that's at times a form of us showing that we really, really, really care about you and we really love you.
No, that's awesome. And I think that's important to point out because, research has shown that most men, and remember, you define men, you said not boys, right? You said men, but most men are actually fantasizing about how to make better sexual encounters, sexual experiences, sexual acts, how to make it better for their spouse, for their partner. And they literally are like begging for information about what are her desires, what are her fantasies, so that he can improve as a lover. And so when we talk about being selfish, I think that's a very selfless thing to really hone in on what it is that your partner desires and what they wish for and what their fantasies are and wanting to improve so that, again, it's a mutually pleasurable experience for both of you.
And a man, as stated, my definition of a man at the onset was we are selfless beings. A real man is a selfless being. He gives to his family, his church, his loved ones, his wife, most importantly, before taking care of himself. So when we talk about intimacy and sexual encounters with our spouses, we want to ensure that our spouse is taken care of. And in turn, a mature person knows that if you cater to your woman, cater to your spouse, she's going to bend over backwards to take care of you, no matter what. You keep her safe, you keep her secure, you provide, be vulnerable with her, she's going to take care of you. So if you're a man's man, you never have to worry about being taken care of because you've done everything prior to getting to the bedroom to let your wife know that I'm here for you. I'm going to take care of you. I will. I know I'm going to get mine.
Well, hey, this is awesome. JG said, okay, this helps me get it. He wants to show me love as I'm feeling emotional.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That is so good. And then Michael says, when a man pleases a woman, that pleases a man more than anything. So he's co-signing. Michael. He's confirming. And then Angel jumped in and said, let the church say amen. All right. So I think we got that one. All right. So for the very last one, you guys, sex is love. Remember, we're talking about from a male perspective, right? Is this a myth, truth, or lie? Sex is love. Tell me what you think. Drop it in the comments. Remember, from a male perspective, do you guys believe that that is truth, myth, or lie? That sex is love for them? And I'm going to go ahead and weigh in. It's actually your turn, but
you take it.
Okay. So, so lie, not necessarily truth. All right. So we got like all of them, right? You guys aren't sure either, right? All right. So honestly, truth. From a male perspective, truth. JJ Rick, you got it. She said, as a female, I say yes, absolutely, 100%. And I'm gonna let you take this one, break this down for the people.
So I'm gonna straddle the fence just a little bit on this one. I'm gonna say it's all the above, because scripturally, the wife needs love, the man needs respect. But what better way for a woman, a wife, to show her man respect without even knowing what he had to battle throughout the day? The moment we leave the house, we are on show. Again, being confronted by the enemy in all shapes, forms, and sizes. At work, trying to establish ourselves, trying to ensure that we not making a mistake that may cost us in the long run. Making sure we channel our words to be very prophetic, empathetic, as well as demanding at the same time, and keeping to our word. Raising our children, raising our young men as well, because we know that we cannot be equal to our counterparts from other races, because we're already starting behind. What greater way for our wives and our spouses to acknowledge that without even talking to us? Just saying, hey, I know you had a tough day. Let me take care of you. That's the way to show us love. That's the way, more importantly, to show us respect. So again, I have to straddle the fence just a little bit on that one. But that generosity that the woman gives or the male gives, and making love just creates that deeper feeling of attachment to our partners. Gives us faith, gives us optimism. It allows us to feel desired, so that we can be it gives us it ego strokes us. It ego strokes us to say, I didn't even have to talk about how my day went, but my wife knows that it's tough out here. Yeah. And she took care of it.
I think too, men get a bad rap often too. You're often accused of like only wanting sex, but I think this is true, and you can confirm or correct, but I think it's true that most men want and they feel much more of an emotional connection than just a release when they get that intimacy and that connection sexually from their spouse, again, after they've had a really, really rough day or going through a rough patch or whatever. And then, as you said, your wife takes care of you. Is that true?
That's
Awesome.
absolutely
You
true.
agree?
Absolutely true.
Okay.
And I'll put it to you like this: that release makes us feel like we at home, and you want your man to come home as often as he possibly can. You know, yeah, it makes us feel comforted, and that we know we're just being taken care of. That allows us to be the men that we need to be for the family.
So sex can provide some soothing and some support.
Absolutely. Now there's sometimes we just want to, give us the remote when we're done.
You mean you don't want to cuddle like every time?
Don't need to cuddle every time. Make sure there's something to eat.
Oh, the 3 S's.
The 3 S's
that we talked about.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
it was
ahead.
sex, supper, and solitude.
And solitude. Doesn't mean that we don't love you.
Right. But sometimes you just need some solitude.
Need that time.
All right. So I see some of you guys' questions in here, and we're gonna hang out just a little bit longer because again, I got a special guest with me. And so we definitely will try to address some more of your questions, if anything that we missed. Let me see. Who was that? We talked about that. Same partners. Mm-hmm. Is it emotional? Yeah, we talked about that. Appetite.
Right there.
Okay. So JG says, after infidelity, husband tried several times as I cried and expressed sadness. He tried to have sex with me. It's so confusing. Oh, this may have been before your comment where you said, okay, you get it, that he's trying to give you sex while you're emotional. Yes, because for them, sex, that last point we just made, sex can be supportive and also soothing for them. So they're just trying to give us that same thing back, not understanding that that's not necessarily the way that we want to be soothed or supported. We need something different, but that's their way of expressing love and support.
It's not all self-satisfaction. He may truly be trying to show you love and affection that he may not have showed previously.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully that helps, JG. Ash H says, I have found my husband loves to watch porn, but I am not a porn star. What are some ways I can spice things up for him and still feel like myself?
So let me
yeah, I definitely was gonna slide that to you. I got an answer, but you're the man. She want to hear from you.
You are a porn star. He wouldn't have married you if you didn't, if you weren't. But it's in your own way and what you're most comfortable with. Man, it's about keeping it spicy, keeping it safe, and allow the mind to try some new things. So it may not be porn or what is being seen on porn, but it may be some things that can be done that satisfies him and satisfies you. You got to kind of bend, stretch out a little bit, but you
literally and figuratively,
you know it. But no disrespect, you are a porn star. You guys got married because there's some ultimate attraction that you guys have for each other. Now it's time to expound on those items.
Yeah, I will say too, Ash, I'm not sure if you watched the other episode that I did with foreplay. That would be a good one to watch because I gave you like different ways to have foreplay, and also role playing followed right after that one. And with you saying that your husband likes to watch porn, one of the role play ideas was porn star. So you guys may want to explore that. The thing is, when it pertains to sex and sexual activity and your intimacy and all of that, you guys have to communicate. And I told you every episode, you're going to hear me say the C word: communicate, 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 because you do want to make sure that you feel like yourself. Well, let me say this. Sometimes you don't want to feel like yourself. The whole part of role playing is that you take on another persona and you become a different person. So role playing may be good for you if you feel safe in that way. And there's no trauma, there's no past hurt, pain, anything that's unresolved that hasn't been healed, and you're in a safe place mentally and emotionally to explore with your husband in that way. So what I'm saying is, you may want to try role playing. That might get you outside of your comfort zone because it's not you. It's whoever you created. It's whatever character you created. So you may want to try that. And then also, again, watching that episode about role playing, I think will be, foreplay might be very helpful for you too, because you guys just may need to try some different things. And then there's so many different things. There's so much out there that you can do, and still stay within the confines of a level of comfortability. And the comfort really is about you not going against your morals, values, ethics, standards. That's what I mean when I say, yes, it needs to be comfortable, but trying something new is going to be uncomfortable in the beginning, right? So that's why I'm saying I want to make sure I'm clear that sometimes you do have to be uncomfortable because it's something new, it's something different. All right. So hopefully that helps you.
I want to answer this one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's scheduled sexy time still sexy for men? It's what you make it. It's what you make it. Sometimes you feel like you may be doing it out of obligation, but is that really fun? Are you laying there like a starfish and saying, at 8:00, come get it, and and that's so to say we did it. But if you send text message throughout the day and say, I don't care what you're doing at 8:00, be available. It's gonna be sexy. It's gonna be sexy. So again, it's really what you make it.
That's the second part of her question.
Are they
just as aroused if it's scheduled as if it were spontaneous?
All the above. Again, it's what you make it. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely what you make it in a relationship that you have with your husband or spouse.
Okay, so one of our listeners, viewers, watchers had some advice for you. As she said, get some outfits, music, toys, read some erotic stories, and enjoy. Your husband will be more than satisfied. So I think this was about the porn star question or comment, and he's saying the outfits would be like role play. The music, the toys, that's trying something different. That could be a part of your foreplay experience. So he's in alignment. We're in alignment with that. All right. Okay. That was a good suggestion, Mary. She says there are plenty of how-to books and videos. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Lisa says, so if he or she has sex with someone else, does that mean that he or she is showing them love?
It's showing some type of emotional connection.
Always?
As a man, yes.
All right. So see, that's why I want you to break it down.
Yeah. As a man, yes. Again, that person is fulfilling some type of need/want from the man. Now, the level of it, that's the question. The level of care, concern, that's the question. But there is some type of care, some type of emotional connection with a man when he has sex.
Okay. So we're distinguishing between a man, a real man, and a boy. Right? Because Mary said people hook up in bars and have sex, but not real love.
Absolutely.
Facts. Absolutely true. In a marriage situation, is it love and affection? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know if this is a continuation of a question, Mary. So if you have more details, you could be more specific with that. Is making love and having sex the same thing?
Nope. not by my thoughts. It's that making love, that affection, that intimacy is a different level than having sex. I can have sex with my wife, I can make love to my wife, and we're both are satisfied. So it's not that I don't love her, but time permitting, we have 4 beautiful children. We made love and had sex.
And it has been scheduled.
And it has been scheduled. It has been spontaneous.
Yes, for sure. All right. So I love this comment. Mary, you are on it tonight. She says each woman is sexually different. Communicate with your partner as to what they like and don't like. Absolutely.
Key.
Absolutely.
Mary speaking to a man.
Mm-hmm.
You find out what her likes, dislikes, or her expectations are. That way you can hone in on those items and then help those items grow.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I hope that you guys have learned something, that you got something out of this episode tonight. Again, I want to say thank you, honey, so much for joining me. I want to say thank you guys for watching. And I don't know. I'm just, every week I'm just so excited, but I'm going to contain myself. I'm not going to tell you what the topic is for next week. I like surprising people. I don't know if you noticed yet, but I love surprises. So this is why I'm torturing you in this way, because I want to surprise you too.
I thank you for having me. I thank you for your fans and all the attendees for having me as well.
Baby saying I got fans.
Got some people that like it.
That's sweet.
I'm one of them.
Oh.
So again, I thank you for this time, and I really enjoyed this evening. So I appreciate you all for the comments.
All right, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week.